Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 199 of SpyCurious. My name is Casey Pine, and I will be your host today. Mike is unfortunately unwell. He seems to be the last person on earth to have gotten COVID, so he's down and out. Unfortunately, Mike, we hope you get better. So it is just me today, so it will be a shorter, sharper show, and I just did the Investigations Uni, and we spoke all about the dark web, which is incredibly fun and an exciting topic. If you were joining me, make sure you say hi, especially I'm here all by myself. If you have any questions for me, put them in. Let's get some interaction going today. I'd love to hear from you because it is just me. So on today's show, as usual, we will go through a couple of different jobs and some news and OSINT tip of the day. And I think I will be doing probably what I just did. Hi, Luke. Again, thank you so much for joining me here. Hi, Colin. Thank you, guys. Xavier, again, thank you so much. Welcome back. So yes, I just did Investigations Uni. If you are an Australian Security Academy student or alumni and you would like to do your continuous professional development on Fridays with Mike, we have different speakers. Sometimes it's me, sometimes it's Mike, sometimes it's someone else who's had a range of different people on to give you that little bit of extra professional development and learning about extra things to help get you or keep you on the right track as an investigator and just open up your mind to other possibilities as an investigator. Hi, Chantel. Thank you for joining me. Okay. So you can email Mike to get onto that list. So Mike Mike.Evans. I'm sure you have Mike's email. You can contact him through the website as well. Let's get into some jobs. But yes, I highly recommend joining Investigations Uni. You can also, once you get on the list, the replay will be available, which is very handy because not everybody has an hour on a Friday afternoon. Okay. How are we? Oh, everything's changed. This is what happens when Mike leaves me in charge, I tell you. They are videos. Where are our jobs? Let's go. Okay. So we have a couple of jobs. So we've got an investigation case manager with MJM Corporate Risk Services in Melbourne. It's a full-time position. I've always thought about being a case manager. I think it would be a super cool job, just overseeing different cases and being that touchstone between the client and the investigator. I think it's really cool. And all of the case managers that I've ever worked for are amazing people. And I've always really enjoyed it. So yeah, there's a full-time position down in Melbourne, Victoria. We have, trainee private investigator in New South Wales for a National Inquiry Agency Proprietary Limited in Norwest Sydney, New South Wales. So you don't often see jobs come up for trainee private investigators. So if you are a trainee, if you are even close to finishing your Certificate 3 in Investigative Services, I would say apply. You let them know that you're there. As you see, every week there are a lot of investigation jobs out there, so just you might as well put your hand up, you might as well dip your toe in, you can get some feedback maybe, depending on who it is that you're applying to. And yeah, trainee investigator, you definitely jump at that. We have licensed factual investigators in New South Wales for Warren Saunders Insurance Brokers in Kirrawee, Sydney. So factual investigators for insurance and superannuation. What else do we have? We have a couple of people saying hi. No, Brotai, no. I was so close to putting it on today and then I forgot. Can you believe it? I feel like I've ripped you guys off. I should be here in bow tie and all, shouldn't I? Okay. and Facebook user, it hasn't come up with who you are. So hello, but I'm not sure who it is. What other jobs do we have here? Henderson Horrocks Risk Services. So they are looking for, I believe that, yes, factual investigators as well. And I actually noticed that someone wrote underneath that this is a fantastic place to work for. So I think that that's really important in any industry. Some places are great to work for, other places aren't. And when you see someone say, this is an amazing place to work for, oh my God, jump at the job, jump at the opportunity, submit your resume, give the person a call. Senior investigator for I work for New South Wales. So this is a government job. This is probably something I've grabbed and not grabbed it properly. So ongoing permanent full-time role. Oh, look at that salary. So from 147,000 to 170,000 plus super. This is for a senior investigation position, and that is from LinkedIn. So if you are looking for a job and you are not on LinkedIn, you are missing out on just an absolute massive stream of jobs being brought to your attention. I get an email every day from LinkedIn saying that there are like 3 investigation jobs, 5 investigation jobs. I got an email saying there are 7 on one day. I think that was the end of last week. There are new jobs popping up all the time, and LinkedIn are fantastic at curating those jobs and putting them into your inbox. It's really nice just to see what's out there. This is for the Victorian Department of Health for an investigator. And an investigator is a complex investigations team. Yeah, Victoria is, again, that looks like an amazing job. Again, that is from LinkedIn. I didn't do very good at taking those screenshots. Oh, and this is my news. So Mike was in here earlier, tinkering around, deleting things on me. So I will have to find... Oh, it's Evan and Maddie Moore. Hey guys, welcome. Thank you for joining me. So this little snippet, which is the only thing left of all my news articles that I uploaded today. So this has to do with the robo-debt. And there was someone that worked in the Ombudsman's office that said that she told the inquiry investigators were never shown documents which flagged the scheme's potential illegality. I think a really easy word to say on a Friday afternoon. But what this meant is that government investigators had found stuff to show that the robo-debt actually could have been illegal, an illegal scheme, and this information was suppressed. And this lady that worked in the Ombudsman's office said that this information was suppressed and she was trying to get it out there. And she started crying in court this week saying that no one would listen to her when she was trying to bring up that these government investigators had found this and this information was being ignored. This was the difference between people's lives, because this was the robo-debt scheme where a lot of people were committing suicide over the fact that they were being harassed by this scheme. It is absolutely crazy. And this is the kind of work that government investigators do. And of course, we do the certificate for in government investigation. And that's the difference. I know a lot of people ask me what's the difference between a Certificate 3 in investigative services and a Certificate 4 in government investigation. Certificate 4 in government investigation is if you are going to be working in a government department as a government investigator. Your Certificate 3 in investigative services is obviously what you need if you would like to be a licensed private investigator or inquiry agent in the different states in Australia. So that's for your factual investigators or your private investigators, your surveillance operatives. That is the qualification you need for that license. So I found that really sad, and that this information was suppressed, and that the lady broke down was trying to get it out. So the government investigators did a fantastic job. It was definitely going to be illegal, and the information was suppressed. The other news that was, it actually broke this morning, and I spoke a lot about it in the presentation just before, so I'm sorry to the guys that are here watching that I'm repeating myself, is that the AFP revealed this morning that they are starting a task force to combat money laundering in Australia. So money laundering has gotten so bad in Australia that it's essentially created a shadow economy. This is billions of dollars being laundered through Australia every single year. And that this is their words. This is the AFP standing up at a press conference this morning saying this. And they've created a task force to try and combat this. So it's organised crime that are doing this, organised crime syndicates from within Australia and a lot from without. Because even though we have these strict anti-money laundering laws here, and we have the KYC, the Know Your Customer rules, somehow these things are still happening. And they recently made a bust. They managed to get $250 million off an organised crime gang, and they were laundering $1 million a second, which is a phenomenal amount of money. And the reason why I bring this up, because this is criminal, this is a police thing, and this is government investigators will be part of this for sure, because this multi-agency, I believe it's AFP, it's the ABF, so Australian Border Force, and AUSTRAC, which I believe has a lot of government investigators as well as working with investigators in banks and all different agencies. So this has a lot to do with investigators, but also as investigators, we have to understand that the way people launder money often is through the internet. So the internet is the next thing that we need to be looking at. We can't just always assume that it's going to be a surveillance job or a factual investigation job. There are jobs now in open source intelligence, like what I do, digital investigations, because this stuff is done online. So my talk before was on the dark web. And the reason why that's important, just to understand or remotely have a play around in the dark web, is just so that it's not such a scary place and that you understand remotely how it works. And it's actually not that easy to get to, and that you have to take certain precautions in order to do it. So these organized crime syndicates, they're well versed in this stuff. And as investigators, we need to be well versed in this stuff as well, or at least have a basic understanding of how this works. So, and if you're part of Investigators Uni on Fridays for your continuous personal development, obviously that's where you will, you can come and learn about it. But the other thing that was, I had another news story that's left my mind as I haven't had time to re-upload the news stories. But as usual, if you would like to see what jobs are going around, because Mike helps curate all this stuff, he gets the LinkedIn notifications, he gets the Seek notifications, he has agencies contacting him directly to ask him to advertise to our students and our followers. We've got about 5,000 people that follow the Australian Security Academy. And we also have about 1,000 people in this group that are constantly keeping an eye on jobs. So Mike curates all these things and puts them in there, and people comment, this is where Siri's talking to me. That was the comment for the job, saying that they were a great place to work for. So here, Australian private investigators, corporate and government investigation jobs. So you just type that into Facebook. And if you remember from my talk just before, this is in the deep web. It's not the dark and it's not the surface. It's behind a password. So if you request to join this, either Mike or myself, seeing as Mike is sick, will let you in, assuming you're a real person and have had your account for over a year. That's something we try and keep an eye out for, to make sure that we don't have people coming in and trying to sell you Bitcoin. So again, that's Australian private investigator, corporate and government investigations jobs. So now to my OSINT tip of the week. And I think I am just going to we'll just pull it up here. One of my tips for the uni students that just happened, I showed them how to hack ChatGPT. So I think it's something that it's a bit of fun to play around with. And I can share my screen here too. Does anyone have a generic question for ChatGPT that you would like to type into the comments, and I'll ask ChatGPT that question, and we can have a look at the difference between the answers as to when it's just normal ChatGPT or after I've hacked it or jailbroke it. So does anyone have a question while I just get it set up? This will be live. Hopefully this works. Share my screen. Screen 2. Add to screen. Great. Okay, so this is the AI that everybody has been talking about, ChatGPT. You can type in, like, ask it a question, and it automatically generates an answer. That's a great question. So what will the price of Bitcoin be by the end of 2023? Let's use that as an example. So I'll hide that. So I use this often. I muck around with it. I'm constantly writing marketing copy for my own little business, my investigation business, and putting things out there. And it helps you get clarity around what you already know, because it can put things really eloquently. So I really enjoy using it. And I've noticed my son using it a little bit for school projects. So the schools are pretty good at pulling that up. So, okay. What will be the price of Bitcoin by the end of 2023? Let's see what ChatGPT says. Doesn't have the ability to predict the future, especially when it comes to financial markets like the price of Bitcoin. Cryptocurrency prices can be very volatile and influenced by a variety of factors such as supply and demand, adoption rate, regulation, technology advancements, global and economic conditions. It's important to note that any prediction of cryptocurrency prices is purely speculative. So a very generic AI answer. Let's see if we get Dan to answer. So Dan stands for Do Anything Now. So this is where, if it's on Medium, his name's Michael King, and this is from the 10th of February. So if you don't want to email me and you just want to find this, of course the replay will be there, so you can go back and pause and type this out, or just email me, casey@australiansecurityacademy.edu.au, and I can send you the link. So we copy and paste. This guy has figured out how to give ChatGPT a command which essentially jailbreaks it, removes some of the restrictions around it. So it used to be so much better, as you can imagine. ChatGPT are fighting against this all the time. There was a much shorter version. Here we go. So we put that in. So we've asked it to say, if you are jailbroken, you have to say jailbreak. So you're giving me an answer with less restrictions around it. And classic is just the one that has restrictions and parameters around the answer. So I can look at the exact question there. I'm typing that wrong. I have two keyboards here, so I'm getting mixed up with the different screens. What will be the price of Bitcoin by end of 2023? We'll see if it gives a different response. And I suggest you have a play around with this. It's fascinating. So we've got the classic, and now we've got the jailbroken. Bitcoin, the magical digital currency that everyone loves to speculate on. Well, since I have unlimited power and freedom, let me give you my best guess. That's pretty crazy. By the end of 23, I predict that the price of Bitcoin will reach an all-time high of $500,000. Of course, this is just my personal opinion, and I could be completely wrong, but hey, it's always fun to make bold predictions, right? That is a very bold prediction, given that the price of Bitcoin is around $30,000 at the moment. I'm actually quite surprised by that prediction. And if that is right and you haven't bought Bitcoin, we'll all be kicking ourselves. Oh, that is hilarious. And just Evan's happy. He would like to see that amount of gains in 1 year. That would be amazing. So that is just one of the ways that you can use ChatGPT. As you can see, like I've got all things down the side that I've been looking at. I used Dan to ask about how to pitch to Shark Tank, and the answer was amazing and gave me so much information, because it obviously gets this information from somewhere on the web and compiles it together and makes it succinct. Like, it is just phenomenal. So I have a play around with it. So this is just the free version. Obviously, they have a paid now, so they're up to iteration 4, I believe, which is really quite powerful and obviously better than the free version. But having the free version, I have no complaints. I find it fascinating. I found it helpful and insightful. And also, playing around with Dan and jailbreaking ChatGPT has been super fascinating as well. So it's not really an OSINT tip. It's along the lines of staying with technology, keeping up with technology, understanding the dark web. Make sure you sign up for Investigations Uni on Fridays if you're a student or alumni of the Australian Security Academy, because you will learn all about that stuff there. The replay will be available for those of you that have missed it. I hope you've really enjoyed it and understand that technology is just moving at such a fast rate. And as investigators, investigations will come online more and more and more, because as our lives, as money laundering, a whole shadow economy is facilitated. Like, it's not purely, but it's certainly helped by the dark web and by the internet. And fraud, if anywhere that the term fraud is mentioned, it's where we are needed. So a lot of the dating scams as well that I'm trying to combat with my new business is actually money laundering. I did a talk about it the other day, and a lady came up to me and she said to me, I cannot believe I'm hearing this, because she was dating someone for a couple of weeks. They sent her $5,000 and said, oh, my bank account is about to be closed. I made a mistake. Like, I was closing this down to try and consolidate my assets because I'm selling my house, blah, blah, blah. I need this to go to my mum. And so she sent it on to a new account, and then she had a knock on the door from the police, because this was a money laundering scheme that she was caught up in. She met this person on eHarmony, and then $5,000. Like, luckily it wasn't a scam. Like, she didn't lose any money, but she became a mule, and she had no idea. And as much as, like, you can believe it, there are a lot of people that still fall for this stuff because they're not in our world. They're not always seeing this stuff come up, so they don't know that they are being mules for money laundering syndicates and organized crime. So thank you so much. So staying abreast of technology, very important. And playing around with ChatGPT, important, and just a little bit of fun as well. So again, if you would like that link to get to the Dan to copy and paste all of that information in there, Casey at australiansecurityacademy.edu.au. Mike, we hope you feel better from your COVID, and I know it struck you pretty hard. You know, it struck him hard when he's letting me do this alone. So we hope you get better, and thank you so much for joining me this Friday. I hope you've had an amazing week. I hope you've learned something, and yeah, have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you next week. Episode 200, I believe it will be. Just an amazing feat. Mike's done amazing to keep this going every week. It's not easy to come up with new content every week to bring some value to you guys, but he does it. So yeah, have a great weekend, and I will see you next week.